So we're talking about relational conflicts. And here's a question from Anthony. We bicker all the time. And she's so critical of me, I feel like I can't do anything right. I'm not sure that I see Anthony's question. If the question is, how can I make her feel like what I do is okay? Or how can I not feel so bad about the fact that she puts me down? Or how can we stop bickering so much? I guess it's all three. So let me take this very powerful question. Powerful because it's so common, right? What is bickering? Bickering is low-intensity chronic warfare. It's this notion that every time one person says something, the other person has a reaction to it. It's like you've got this proximity. It's like silex, and it constantly is friction, but it is constantly negative friction, right? It's not a positive spark. It's just negative heat all the time, this criticism. And if probably one of the most important elements of the demise in a couple is criticism, ongoing hypercriticism, because it produces the actual opposite effect of what we seek when we are loved or when we love somebody, which is to feel good about ourselves. And if, as a result of being with someone, you end up feeling so much of the time lousy, unloved, uncared for, devalued, inadequate, inept, all of what Anthony is talking about, you really are on the other side of the tracks. So what can you do? The first thing is, when you are in critical mode, you are rarely reflecting. You are constantly reacting. That's a big difference. The reflection requires a little bit of time in between, a little bit of space, a moment to even think what it is that the other person meant before you automatically assume that you know and you're on automatic pilot. And generally, when you're in critical mode, your assumptions are negative. You do not assume that the other person had good intentions. You always are on the assumption that it was meant to be hurtful, meant to be dissing you, etc. I think what's very important to understand about criticism is that it actually sits on top of a mountain of disappointments, of unmet needs, of unfulfilled longings. Behind a criticism, there often is a wish. When I tell you you never do something, what I'm also trying to tell you is that I wish that you would do it. And I recommend that you actually state your wish. Just say the thing you would want. But then often I'm going to get, but I've already done that and I got nothing. And so rather than experience the vulnerability of putting myself out there and asking the question and waiting for the possibility that you won't meet me, that you will not hear me, that you will disregard my request, I prefer to launch into anger than to experience the hurt. And yet, the more you go for the anger, the more you're going to get anger back, and you're on a cycle of negative escalations. You cannot avoid having to say, this hurts, I wish you would do this more, it would mean a lot if you did. When you don't, I feel this way. Stay with the request. When you get into your long list of all the things that never happen or always happen, but they always are also negative, you never get to the movies, you never buy me a gift, you never take me out, you never ask me how I'm doing, you never ask me about my day, you always only talk about yourself, you only buy the food that you like. I mean, it basically is always saying that there is only room for one person in the relationship. First of all, leave the never and always out of it. And then, instead of we never go to the movies, if what you really want is to go to the movies, say it simple. Can we go to the movies? I'd love to go to the movies. I bought tickets for the movies. Just talk about the movies. Don't interpret the movies with the subtext that is about the fact that the other person is purposefully neglecting you. So just listen to the difference. We never go to the movies. Or, what I really miss is when we used to go to the movies. It'd be really fun if we went again. I'm always the one who does the dishes. You never do the dishes. When's the last time that you ever put a plate in the sink, let alone in the dishwasher? Okay? Now, you know what? I had a really long day and I'm exhausted. Can you do the dishes tonight? Do you hear the difference? And do you hear which one is more likely to get you the thing that you're asking for? When you hear the difference between these two, you may think, but I'm right. But that's true that that person never does it. And I would say you may be right, but it ain't gonna get you what you want. So you ask yourself, do you want to be right or do you want to be married? Or in other words, it may be better to be wise than right.